All right, skill and luck is the first one here, maybe the only one here. I don't know how it's going to go today. I had a really weird situation in the garage this morning. I did my daily paycheck and little glitch. Like my software says, rejoin live feed. So I click the button, rejoin live feed. Like what the internet out there is not the greatest. Obviously, we're in a garage with steel doors, so I don't get the good Wi-Fi out there. And it glitched out, and I clicked the button, and it turned the video private. So nobody got to see my paycheck today, which kind of sucks. But anyway, skills here, good. Old Bay Craps, Craig is second. Anthony is here, and Jalanpan is here. Good. Good morning, all of you, and welcome to the show here. Let's hop into it here. I got a couple things to sort of go over here this morning. Let me get my screen ready. And oh no, we don't want to go there. I want to go here. There we go. Let's do that. Okay. What's happening in our world? A couple things. One is I didn't mention it yesterday, but the new Casino Tiers podcast dropped last night. I haven't listened to it yet. That'll be a thing for me in the car today. I'm going on a road trip today, so I'll put that in the car. Got a couple people to call today. I'll be talking to Chris at Sideshow. I'll be talking to Toro, maybe talking to 10 Ton a little bit. So I'll have some fun stories to tell you tomorrow about those conversations. But in the meantime, changing of the guard over here. Old Bay last night launched the new season 3 of D8. I think season 3, right? The next D8 perpetual table. So Duracell and OBC are now partnering up. Cool thing about that is that they're doing the money or donations per 11 for Layla's scholarship fund. And I'll start putting links up here too for that, so we have easy access to donate. But if you want to donate to Chiro's daughter, Layla, Chiro, as you know, Midmo Yo passed away about this time last year, getting into August or so. And if you want to donate to her scholarship fund, we have a link to their special account that we set up for them last year. It's called a 529 account. It's a special kind of account where you're paying now and you're buying like credits for college at today's rates. So when she's 18, we might buy her whatever $100 per credit today. It may be $250 per credit then. She gets all the credits now, right? So it's really a good thing. So we're going to do that for her throughout. I'm tracking my 11s too. So if we want to do like I said, I could donate like 11 cents for 11 across all the shows. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. Duracell is now in charge of all that. He's not in charge, but you know what I mean. His impetus got Craig going on it. But yeah, welcome Craig to that. You got a ton of people watching last night, which was great. Got some super chats and it was great. Good job on the show. Everything is looking good over there. So I'm stoked that Jeff's kind of handed the torch over to you, and that's great. And speaking of which, Craps Chat season 3, we've had talks about it. Jeff, as you know, is kind of stepping away a little bit, not stepping away, but stepping back a little bit from his channel. Part of that means Craps Chat's going to take a new direction, new leadership, I suppose. So we had a conversation, a bunch of us. We have a new host for the show. It will not be me, just letting you know that now. We have a new format for the show. It'll be still Craps Chat, as you know and love, but it'll be a little bit more time focused, I think. It'll be on a new day and time. It will not be on Sunday nights anymore because Jeremy from Color Up does his podcast at our old time, basically 5 o'clock Sundays. So we'll not do it then. We'll find a different day to do it, different time to do it. And I think we're going to launch it up in July. We got some work to do. I will be producing the show. I will be taking the role of like what Jeff used to do for Gargoyle and Ed. I'll just be behind the scenes, pushing buttons, making sure everything works with all the screen changes and that kind of stuff. And we'll let our hosts run the actual show. Because I'm in the middle of a move right now, as you all know, I can't really do that. So let me get settled in the new place, and then we'll get the show kicked off in July at some point. We'll start it, and it'll be a weekly thing. So there's that. And I want to make sure I don't be remiss here and wishing everybody who's traveling. We got a lot of folks going to Biloxi right now. I think most people are leaving today, tomorrow for Biloxi. Next week is DiceCon starting Monday. So people are traveling to Vegas for DiceCon. People are traveling to Biloxi for the Brownwater Bash. Safe travels to everybody. Good luck at the tables. And I'll wish you all that again tomorrow and Friday, but just kind of get it out there. I know people are starting to get their flying and their driving in place. So have fun out there. I'll miss y'all. I wish I could do it this year, but I can't. So I can't wait to hear the stories. Maybe we'll have somebody on the show to kind of regale some of the stories of the week. So I know there's lots of cool things a lot of cool things happening there. So, anyway, what do we have? What do we have next? I want to talk to you about uh, Crash for the Cure. I can't share the details yet, but I got a really encouraging text yesterday from Don. Don Wood is the one of the presidents of Premier Casino Hosting. By the way, our show is brought to you every day by Premier Casino Hosting. Um, Don let me know that the casino, and again, we're talking about a casino in Vegas. It's actually in Henderson that has a nationwide presence as the ones that are going to host us, potentially host us for this event. They're not necessarily pushing back on the 19th as a date, but preferably the week before, the week after. So somewhere in there. Also, the week before that, I think is Big AZ's thing. So we might be able to do like a weekend Crash for the Cure and then stay in Vegas and do AZ's thing. So cross your fingers we get a date figured out, but they are all in. The text that I got was really an encouraging one from the casino. They love our ideas. Their charity of choice also is a veterans-based charity, so they're all in like what we're doing and why we're doing it. It's about getting approvals now for like what do we do with the filming, and what does the gaming commission have to say about us taking donations inside the casino. Like those are the things we're working through now. Once we get that figured out, it's gonna happen. So I should have a real good update here with a nice announcement, and maybe even a representative from the casino on with me to talk to us about what that's going to look like and what the partnership is going to mean. So I am really, really excited. I'm crossing my fingers. I'm super excited because that text yesterday came in, and man, it was just good to see that they're behind what we're doing. There's no pushback on what we're doing. It's about mechanics right now. So that's where it comes down to, is mechanics. So good deal there. And again, we'll have hopefully an announcement soon, and then we can start working through this checklist of stuff. So let's see, what else do we have? Wow, what else? Daily paycheck. I screwed up this morning. I said it earlier. I went out there this morning, pressed the button, and sometimes I get a glitch and it says, broadcast failed. Click the button to rejoin. I did the button to rejoin and it made it private, so nobody saw it, but I won $1,200. Today I did something I don't normally do, by the way. And I went out there about 5 minutes early and I threw the dice. I took about 5 or 6 practice throws just to kind of warm up. And then I started the show and threw my first 2 throws were after me warming up. I never do that. Usually I come out there cold and just do it. I don't know if you want to call that cheating or not, but I warmed up this morning. Came out I had a 3,200 across, right? Looking to win $700 on any box number. And I had a $100 horn. I rolled aces on the come out. Boom, aces, $700, right? Boom, that's like one hit. Regressed down to 2,100 across. So basically a Dallas drawdown. Rolled an 8 as the new point, set the point of 8. So it took in $700, paycheck, right? That was it. Done and done. Super easy today. $500 on the 8, $700 on the aces, and we're out with $1,200. It was nice 2-roller. Then I realized that nobody was watching. I looked up and I'm like, where's all my chats? There's nobody here. I realized it was private, and I'm like, shoot. So I tinkered around with Crapsy a little bit, got it to work, and then I rolled one more. I finished the shooter out basically. That we hit the point of 8. I went back out there with some play money and finished it out. Quick show. Sorry, it's live now. I went to YouTube and clicked the button. Now you can, if you want to go back and watch it, you can see it. Anyway, apologies on the wacky, but we did get some money back today. We're 12-1 or 10-1 now. So I won another $1,200. You see, our average win is about 1,200 here. The average loss is $5K, right? So when you're doing 2 hits and down with a big giant number, right, the losses are monstrous. And we'll talk about the monstrous size losses here. That's actually the show topic for today when we get into it. So yeah, the regressions that we do, they can be nice when they work. They can be really painful when they don't. Look at that, 10-1, 10 wins, right? 7,000 in profits, nice, but boy, that one loss is a soul crusher. So hopefully we can avoid the early 7s, man, on this thing. But yeah, overall we're doing okay. Overall, we're still at a 77% win rate overall, which is great. We're up $25,000 in pure strategy play. We're up $33,000 overall. It's really good. You'll see a couple strategies up there are actually in the negatives. Look at that. The Dolly Latterson, the first one we ever ran, -1,000. Bummer, right? 80% win rate though, right? But we lost the whole bankroll 4 times, which was tough to come back from. 3-point Molly was horrible. Lost $3,000, almost 4. The 2100 salute, one of my favorite strategies, right? It's 2 hits and down. 2 hits and off, right? 9 and 3, we're negative money on that strategy. Even at a 75% clip, we're at negative money because the losses are so big and there's no drawdown. The Dallas drawdown is, it's 85% win rate. Look at the profit level because we draw it down. Even if we get the early 7, we're drawing down and we're not getting crushed like with the 2100 salute. So very, very different vibe on those 2 strategies for sure. So anyway, we're doing good. Loving it so far. I'm loving the drawdown. The drawdown and the salute are my 2 favorite ways. I just really love the getting out of there in 2 rolls and bye-bye. Yeah, the Fontainebleau nacho controversy. That's funny. Jen says, say it in chat to someone in chat before starting a new show. Yeah, the thing is, I didn't start a new show. It was the same feed, but what happened was the glitch, the software detected the internet glitch, and when I pressed the button to rejoin the feed, it's the same feed, same link. But when I rejoined it, what happens is my software changes it from public to private so that you don't get a black screen. It's like doing it to help me out. When I rejoined it, it kept it as private, and that was the problem. So I didn't realize that it does that. So it's just a bad luck on my part, not seeing that it changed it. So I got it wired for next time. So anyway, there we go. Limit the loss to 1 bullet, right? Yeah, it's you need 2 to get the number, right? I may even go at one point this week. I may go lower level and try and do like a 4-hit build. We'll see it. So anyway, what's next? What's next is talking about gambling. I have I think an interesting topic today. We're going to talk a little bit about regressions today. So again, in the 401 series, we're kind of trying to bring all this stuff home together, right? The goals that you're coming to the casino with, your strategy that you're playing to account for the way you want to win or hit that goal. How many hits does it take to get to the center, right? Your bankroll. Today's going to be a big talk about bankroll, I think. You have to think about when you play a backwards game, bankroll's a big deal for sure. And of course, using your brain to connect everything together. And what does it look like? We've been talking about play styles, right? 401 has been a lot about different ways to play. And today we're going to really focus in on this idea of regressing. Now, and I say this all the time, there's only 3 ways to gamble, ultimately, right? Your complicated, crazy strategies and all the things that people do boil down to these 3 core principles, right? 1, small bets, the smallest amount of money you're willing to lose out there, and grow your bets from that point, right? That's one way to play. Start super small and just pedal the metal and build them up, whatever that looks like for you. You can start at a medium-sized bet and just same bet, just collect all day long. Nothing wrong with collecting. We saw the power the other day of what same bet does compared to other ways of playing. It's very powerful, especially in the early stages, right? It's rare in craps that you get past roll 8, right? The same better in rolls 1 through 7 is making more money than everybody else, right? When it surpasses that, other players can take an advantage. On roulette or baccarat, how many times you get 6, 7 in a row? You don't get it that often. 3, 4 in a row, maybe. Same betting, powerful early on, right? Start medium there. You can go high, way big, take 1 massive hit, and then come down and regress, right? We're going to talk about that today. Starting high and regressing. So you can start small, build your bets up. You can start in the middle, same bet. You can start high, take 1 or 2 hits, and then come all the way back down again and play from safety. That's it. That's the only way you can do this. Now, what you're doing with those things, where your money goes, and that's your strategy. That's where your brain comes into it, right? How we employ and maybe merge those ways of playing, that's how we define our core attack, right? How we're going to phase our play in. If you do that correctly, that's where you become dangerous at the casino, I think. I think it's the combination of those things done at the right time. If you can catch the right time, if you can dodge the bullet long enough to make one of these attack plans work, you're a dangerous player. And I think that's what I want to get us to, right? Today, we're going to talk about regressions, right? And the idea behind a regression is going big, going out big, and bringing it on home, right? Regressions, I think, are a way that you can optimize. We talked about exposure for time, optimizing for time. A regression strategy, most of the time, it's 1 or 2 hits, and then you're out. 1 or 2 hits, and then you're out. Come on down, right? You're optimizing. I don't need to be out there for 8, 9, 10 rolls to make money. I can be out there for 1 or 2 rolls one or two spins of the wheel, one or two hands in blackjack, and be done. Your goal is to take that win and try again. Normally, if you're playing the same bet, medium-sized bet, you're 2 hits and you're probably at your goal and you can walk. A regression player is saying, give me 1 or 2 hits at a big level. Let me earn some money with that so that I can then go out there and play again, right? Your goal is to play many, 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 many times with your winnings. Your goal is to play with winnings all the time so that you can use the winnings and really put your foot on the gas. That's the idea behind a regression. You're buying more time by optimizing for time. It's kind of a cool little metric in there, or cool little way of playing there. Again, the number of donks, you can't optimize for that. Most people who play regressions are covering a lot of numbers or a lot of the board or whatever, because they want to reduce the number of hits. To reduce the number of hits you need, you got to have more coverage, right? So you're typically going to have a lot of money out there for a bunch of bets covered so you can come on down, okay? Money is where this thing falls short. The regression player needs a lot of money. You can't just go out there at table minimum and regress. There's nowhere to go. If it's a $10 table and your bet's $10, you cannot regress. If you're a $10 table, your bet's 25 and you win the 25, you can regress back to table minimum. So to regress, you've got to be way above 2 or 3 or maybe 4 times table minimum just to make it work. So you're going to need bankroll. The one thing remember I told you, we talked about exposure. I can optimize you for time, one or two rolls, spins, hands, or whatever. We can optimize for less donks, right? Less things beat you. We can optimize for those too. But to get that, you got to put all the money out there, and you can't always cover all 3 bases and be solid. So you're going to have to give something up. Here we're giving up the idea of a lot of money. The advantage to it though is this, and the advantage I think is obvious, right? When you're playing a regression strategy, the advantage of it when it works is free play, right? You're going to take a single win or 2 depending on your play style. That's going to pay for your next play, right? You're trying to win enough money not to go home with. You're trying to win enough money to go out with. Let me win enough money and a couple 1-2 outcomes here so I can go out there and play with, I hate to say it, but house money. Play with your profits and leave your bankroll safe. You're going to risk a ton of bankroll so you can play safe later on. Regressing creates opportunity, right? You're creating more chances to play. If I compare this to somebody who's going to do let's just say we're going to do, and I'll show you an example here in a minute, but somebody's going to do just a 64 across in craps, right? They're bringing enough money to try that 10 times. They're going to bring $640. If they burn the 64 every single time, right, they only get 10 cracks at it. Or let's say they get 1 win, and right? The regression player is going to go out there at a much bigger level, right? Maybe they only have enough to try it twice, but every time the regression works, they get a free shot. They might be able to play the same strategy that the other guy's playing 20 or 30 times in a session. That's the idea. Creating yourself chances to get more play at it, right? Regressions also can be employed after you're in. It's a great opening move. Let me go out big. Let me win some money. Let me play with that profit money. Be safe. It's also great when you're out there and you're working and you're winning, and you're building your bets up, and you're on kind of a hot streak, and maybe you've done some pressing and your bets are high. You can regress back to some other level and lock it in, right? A regression can be employed at any point in time. Take a bunch of money off the table, still leave bets out there, regress down to a decent level, but lock in profit. Regression is a great way to get started as an initial play. It's also a fantastic way to lock in your bets, right? If you look at regression as a tool you can employ after you're already winning and have bigger bets out there. It's overlooked sometimes, and it's also ridiculed sometimes. Guys who regress, you're scared money don't make money, right? You press your bets up to like $1,000 across, which I've done, and you're like, man, that's $1,000 out there. It'd be nice to get that next hit at $1,000 where you're bringing back, like a purple chip on some number. It's also not bad to bring back $750 off that table and go back out there at $250, right? Yeah, you're gonna miss opportunity if you do that, but you also locked in the $700. It's a great tool in your belt, in your bag of tricks to get started. Also to lock up. Don't forget that. Now, the disadvantage to it is obvious, I think. 1 donk and you're done, right? You get, yesterday's a good example. I was going to regress yesterday. I went out there at $3,200 across on my daily paycheck show. Think I was going to go 1 hit, come down to 1,600, right? take my hit and come back down by half. Guess what? Boom, 7 on the come out. Massive loss. I lost half my bankroll in one roll, right? The problem with that is this. My goal was to win 4 units. I lost 10 units, which means now I'm negative 14 as I'm looking at my day, right? My whole approach changes, right? You go, shit, I need 2 to 4 hits to get out of here. I lose 10 units in one roll because I'm trying to regress down. I got to go so big to make it happen. Now I'm 14 units upside down. I'm chasing the whole day, right? There's no way to recover from that, right? Unless you're going to get super lucky. That's where regressions will get you. So there's the negative piece of it. The big bankroll risk, we talked about it earlier, comes back to bite you if you have to recover from a massive loss, right? Regression also, I think, has a comp disadvantage because 9 times out of 10, you're out there big for one roll, right? Or one spin. You got 250 on the black on the roulette table for one spin. You win that. You go back out there at $25 on your next bet. Guess what? Boss is taking the notes. He's seeing the $25, not the 250, right? Make sure they're watching you right away. Make sure when you go out there with the big bet, that's when the eyes are on you. Got me rated over here, make sure they're seeing that bet. Otherwise you get rated low. Remember, you're playing at 0 risk. They're looking at their ratings are based on risk. They're looking at what is your EV to them, right? On a $250 bet on roulette, your EV is $12, right? If you're making that 250 all the time. When you're playing at $25, right? The EV becomes $1.25 or whatever it is, right? They don't give a shit about that. But if that's all they're seeing, that's what you're getting rated at. And remember, you're playing that with no risk. If you win the 250 and you come back out there with 25, you're playing that with 0 risk. Your EV is technically 0 at that point. That bet's got a negative EV, but your rack doesn't, right? So comp plays a big deal. Make sure if you're going to regress, you're getting comps, you're getting eyes on you at the right times, okay? So as a comparison, and we'll do a little bit of table work here. We'll kind of look at it. Regressing versus starting low. I'm going to compare those two players because I think it's a good look at it's easiest to kind of evaluate, right? Let's understand this. You're going to lose that big bet. You're going to go out there with a big bet. Let's use craps as an example. You're going to lose it 1/6 of the time, right? Guaranteed. Over time, if I go out there, let's say 320 across, and I lose 1 time out of 6, which I will lose 1 time out of 6, how does that stack up against the guy who's doing the same bet? Just going out there at 64 across and same betting. Well, here's what it looks like right here. And I'll show it to you at the table, right? If I go out there on roll 1 and boom, we get a PSO, I lose $320. That's going to suck really bad, right? But let's say that the next 5 shooters average 2 hits, right? And let's say that our target is 64 across. So we take 320 out, we win 70, you go 64 across. That's your regression. So 1 hit and you're playing for free. Let's say you average for 5 shooters about 2 hits. A guy gets 1, a guy gets 3, a guy gets whatever, right? Let's say you average 2 hits at $15 a hit for the next 5 shooters. The regression player loses 320 the first roll. Then 5 times he wins about $30. His net is going to be negative 170. You're going to be upside down. The person who's betting 64 across is going to also lose $64 that first time. We'll give him the same thing. And then 5 times he's going to lose $30 because he's going to win an average of 15, but he's out there for 64, right? He never really recovers, which is very typical. You play 64 across, trying for 3 or 4 hits, you get 2 or 1 or 3. That's what's going to happen to you almost all day long. He's going to lose a little more. If the average outcome happens where you get about 2 hits in the box for 5 shooters, guess what? The regressor, even though took the big hit for 320, actually comes out ahead because once he's playing with profit, everything is profit. From that point, everything comes to the rack is a bonus, right? So regression might be considered, threading the needle a little bit. So why don't we go to the table? Let me go back to my table and let me just show you what that looks like right there. Let's go here and get some bets out there and we'll run it through. And again, I'm going to show you let's put 500 in the rack for the one. Actually, we'll do both. We'll have $640, 625, 640 in our rack. I think you can see the rack. I'll put it up here because it doesn't really matter where that. Can you see that okay? Maybe down here is better. That's fine. Down there is fine. Once you can see the chips. Okay, there's $640. I'm going to come out here for $320. I'll take $5 and change. So what I've got left in my rack is $3.20. Okay, half my money's out here. We're gonna go $3.20 across. It looks like this. It's $50 per bet, like so. Now, if we catch a hit, let's take the loss first. Let's say we lose the 320, right? Which is going to really be awful. We're going to lose the 320 the first time, so it all goes bye-bye. Actually, I'll leave it out here, right? But let's say we lose the 320, we go, shit. Shooter 7 out, right? Set a point of 4, roll a 7, done. I'll even put the 7 here so you can see it. There's a 4 and there's a freaking 3, and we lose all our money. Okay, rail dump. Go out there 320 again. Okay, now we're out. We have nothing in the rack. Let's say the shooter rolls anything, like an 8. That's awesome. That pays $70. Right, we'll take this back. Oh, my text is going on. Hold on, let me go back over here. My text, somebody's texting the crap out of me. I must have not had switch my mic. Hold on. Switch the mic. There we go. Can you hear me now? That should be better. I'm going to switch the mic. So I did it again. Someone texted him. He doesn't respond to me. I can hear my computer. I can hear my computer dinging, but I can't. My phone's over there. I do need a QA. I need a QA. That's not funny. All right, here we go. Let's go back. And now I think I get the right mic on. Let's go back over here again. All right, one more time. I'll start that whole demo over. Let's put in our rack. I'm going to do the two guys the same. Here comes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, $640. $640 in the rack. Okay? $640 in the rack. I'm going to go 320 across. We're going to do this guy first. 320 across. Okay? Let's take $325 out of my rack. $5 change. That puts me 320 across and 320 in the rack. Okay? I'm going to be the regression player that gets beat the first roll. We roll a 7. We lose our 320. I'm going to leave it out here, but we set a point of 4. We lose 320. Leave it out there. Okay? Puck is off. I rail dump. I go, okay, here's the regression player's nightmare. You have to go big or you have to go home, right? Rail dump. We're going to give it 2 shots today, right? Now we're out. We lost 320. We're out for our last 320. And let's say that we get it, right? We set a point of something. We roll a 9. Doesn't matter what the number is. That pays $70. Okay. Now, our 320 comes back to the rack. We take our winnings and we play with the winnings. And the winnings come out to 64 across. From 70, that'll be $6 change. So we've locked up a profit on this go of $6. Okay. Now let's say that worked. We've got beat once and it works 5 times. Okay. 5 other shooters we get to this point. We take our $6 and again, we'll do it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times we get $70, go 64 across. That means we actually earned $30 in just juice coming out. $30 in the extra little coinage that comes out. Now we're going to average, I'm not going to roll dice, we're going to average 2 hits per shooter. 2 hits per shooter. So 5 shooters, we're going to win $14 twice, 5 times. So the shooter 1, it's going to pay $14, right? The next one on that shooter will pay $15 for 1. So every shooter for us, and then they 7 out, right? Every shooter is going to win $25, $28 on the average, okay? If I say, let's take $28 and we'll do $28 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, $28. Sorry for the weirdness of the demo here, but it's gonna make sense in a minute, I promise. There's our $28. 5 times. So 5 times we average 2 hits for $28 each. We already won 30. Let's color this up. Let's do a quick color up and see where we landed here. There's 5, 10. There's $15 in white chips. That's 150. There's $25 in white and reds. A couple reds left. Let's take all this back and let's see where we landed up. 1, 2, 3, 475, $490 back in the rack. We started out with 640. Okay, do the math there. 640 minus 490. That's 590. That's $160, right? $150. We're down. We're down 150. Even though, and I'll put it over here, 150 for the regressing for that guy. Okay, for the guy playing the regression strat, he lost $150. Okay, now the other guy who's going to same bet it, he's going to start low, $64 across. Let's assume the first shooter, he loses $64. Okay, there's $64 out. Okay, he's down, he's negative 64 the first time. Every other time he goes out for 640. Let's say he's going to burn his entire 640 coming out here. What is he going to win coming back? Okay, if he puts 640 out and all he does is lose $64 the first time, and every other time he wins $28. So and on average, right? So 64 minus 28, that's 54, 44, $36. So he ends up losing $36 on average every single time. Let's put it out there. 25, 35, $36. He's going to lose $36 5 times, plus his initial 64. 35, 36, 3 times, 25, 35, 36, 4 times, 25, 35, 36, 5 times. That's the same better. He goes out 64, he gets crushed once, and he gets crushed for $35 every other time, because you're going to average 2 hits and out. That would be the same thing for the regression player, right? Where does he land in total loss? Remember, this guy lost $150. How close are they in their average total loss? Well, there's two greens, 100, 210. There's 5, 215. He loses $219 in that same sequence. He loses $219. The other guy lost $150. They both lost, right? No question, they both lost. Regression player lost less, even though he took the biggest hit early on. Okay. Again, this is why I say it's a bankroll decision. Can you withstand that big ass loss in the beginning, right? Give yourself 5 chances or more chances at, and again, if you catch a run in there, you're fine. He loses less than the same better in this case. Again, the same better gets destroyed when we don't get even, right? The regression player actually has a little bit of an advantage here. I think it's interesting, right? And when I was doing this analysis yesterday, I'm like, my God, like, this intrinsically, that's how it's going to play itself out. But until you see it with chips, you're like, wait a minute. How is that happening? Well, that's exactly how it happens. You got to calculate your losses. Let's go back over here. Let me switch back to the other mic. There we go. You got to calculate what it looks like when it goes bad, right? And again, play the averages out, right? Yeah, we take the 320 loss and you're like, God, that sucks, right? But if averages kind of play itself out, you lose, but you lose less than the other guy who just was going 64, 64, 64, 64, and saying a Hail Mary. It's very interesting. Now, if the rolls go 5-6 long, the 64 across guy ends up making more money. He's always pulling back, right? He's always pulling back. But that's an interesting way of looking at it, right? Does regression thread the needle? Does it? Right? If you can afford that initial spread and you can withstand the early whack, the upside is there over the other ways of playing. And that's the reason why, because you get more chances at it. Once you've regressed, you can switch anywhere you want to. Once I've got my play money, right? You're earning your play money. You can same bet at where you landed and just be fine with it. Just collect, right? You can employ a pressing rhythm at that point. You can attack with like a parlay press kind of a move if you're on like a 50-50 kind of thing, like a roulette or baccarat. You can regress again later on. You can build them back up again, like do a parlay move, like parlay, hit, regress. Parlay, hit, regress. You keep on doing that. This might be the way, right? A lot of professional players, regression's the only way, right? You want to be playing on profits, playing without risk to your initial bankroll as often as you can for as long as you can. That's the secret, right? To do that, you've got to have bankroll. You cannot go out there with $500 and go 320 across and do one of these every Monday morning, right? You're going to have more money to do it. You got to survive that. That's why I say to you all the time, you can optimize for a lot of things. Let's go back a couple of screens here. Give me a second to kind of wind it back here. You can optimize for time. 320 across, one hit. I can do the Hawaiian crap shooters quarter pounder with ease. It's a 2-hit strategy that wins you $50. I can do the skill and luck, skill 66, 2 hits, win $50 played for free, right? You can optimize for time. Optimizing for time means bigger bankroll, right? It means bigger bankroll being out there. You can't have both. You can't have 0 time and no bankroll risk. It's impossible. You have to, there's a tug of war going on, right? And again, what you're betting on, the donks are tied to your coverage level, right? The skill 66, good idea, right? But it's inside only, not across, which means you're not covering the whole board. So it's not 2 rolls and out, it's 2 hits and out. I play it with a cross and a horn. I'm 2 rolls and out no matter what. I really optimize for time, but it costs me more money in bankroll. You got to be able to accept that risk as you go in. But that's the story of the regression. I think the regressions, to me, it is threading an needle, but you got the bankroll to do it. When I'm low bankroll, I'm more start at the bottom and build my way up. I'm more survival mode when I don't have the bankroll. When I have the bankroll, I like a regression, right? Whatever works for you, works for you. But I think that's a way to look at it, folks. And I hope that is a good comparison, right? We've looked now at all 3 ways to play, right? We've taken three days in a row and looked at starting small. We've looked at starting medium and collecting same bet. We've looked at now starting high and coming back down. Those 3 core ways are the only way to attack a table. Now, where your money goes, how much your money goes, what you do in the process, when do you move from one of these ways of playing to another one of these ways of playing, when do you employ different pressing strategies or whatever as part of your play, that's the magic. That's what I say here. As you employ and merge these things together as your attack plan, that's how you get it. I don't think going out there and same betting forever is going to get it done. I don't think starting small and trying for a home run every time is going to get it done. I don't think regressing to a same bet is ever going to get it done. As you saw right there, regressing the same bet doesn't always get it done. I think marrying these things and merging them together and finding new ways to kind of employ stuff, that's where the magic is. Okay. That's going to be our next 2 lectures. We're going to get into how do we merge play, right? I'll talk about merging and combining these ways of playing together to make a strategy or make a play style that makes good sense for you and ways to adjust. Then we'll talk about, okay, how can we press and all the different ways of kind of, making the second move make sense. This is all about phase 1 play anyway. So, all right, there we go. Let me get ahead here and we'll go to some questions. I'll check the chats here. What do we have in terms of PCs? I'm just going to go and check my PC. Questions for me, put a PC in front of it. Or a Q. I'll find them both. Let's take a look what we have. Skill says, my day is open. I will contact him about that. I am driving in the car for like 4 hours, maybe 5 hours today. So we'll talk at some point today for sure. Let's see. Limit the loss to 1, but we've already talked about that one. Let's see. Skill wants complete examples of each situation that my teaching to compare against the real thing, the bankroll amounts, goal system. I will do that. We're going to get into more of that later. I wanted to give you kind of a high level view in this first one. When we get into combining the strategies, we're going to look at all the strengths and weaknesses, right? And I'll get to where I'm rolling more things out as a, let me put 3 guys on the table at once and we'll do the same rolls and we'll kind of compare their bankrolls at the end. It gets confusing when I do that sometimes. So I try to not do too much of that, but I get what you're asking me for. So we will do some better comparisons for sure. And yes, I'm sorry about the volume. I have to switch the thing. Dice Dr. Dan asked me, is a win goal an absolute? Buying for 500, win goal is 100, and I won 95. Walk. Walk out, man. How many times have you seen me on my shows with fake money say we're one roll away? I've gotten to $90, right? And burned the whole bankroll trying to win $5. It happens, right? Even on the negative progression thing, right? You do like a little ladder, come down. We're just one hit away from being at pure profit, pure goal. You can't. Close enough has got to be good enough, $5, $10, whatever. Because what'll happen is some other day you'll win an extra $25. It'll end up evening itself out. Don't chase that, A good example is like in my garage today. Our win goal today was 1,300. I won 12. I walked, right? And the $1,200 was an easy one to hit because the first hit we got was 700, right? I regressed. The second hit we got was 500. That's 12. It's damn close enough. If I went out there on the next roll for like 640 across, I would have taken my 1,200 that I won. I would have put half of that money at risk to win $100. If I lose it, I got to win $600 again, right? How many times have you said, oh, okay, I got $600 in the rack. I just got to win 6 more. I'll go back out there at the big number. We'll take one hit and come home. That's when the 7 comes and you burn it. Close enough is good enough for sure. For sure. Yeah, I will make the case for laddering up on losses later. We're going to talk negative progressions here at some point. We'll go through some Wayland ideas, but we'll talk about negative progressions. I have a whole couple shows, maybe 4 or 5 shows about negative progressions that we'll do in comparisons for sure. No, yes, yes and no. I have gotten attitude because of regressions making them work more. What I do and what I've been doing more of, because for some reason I've been encountering a lot of new dealers, but I'll go out there. And as an example, I was just doing this the other day. I went out 96 across and I knew I was going to come down to 64, right? I knew I was going to go 96. I was going to take 2 to 3 hits, press, and then come down to $64. What I did was I had $64 in my rack up in the front. I had put 96 out there and put 64 to the side. And I said, on that last hit, whatever it was, I think I dropped $2 and $30, bring it all down. They bring it all down. I say 64 across. I put the money out there. Sometimes giving them what they need is just easier, right? If it's an easy one, and I'll give you an example, like 320, I'll show you this. This is actually a good one. So if you know what you're going to do, make the bets work for them easy. So here's like a good, actually 64 across is great. My local casino is $32, is a $5 table, right? So if I'm going to regress from 64, I might take whatever, $14 in the first hit. I might take 15 for 1 on the second hit. And I might take 15 for 1 on the third hit, right? Typical John play, right? I'll take three same bets, and I'll say, make me look like 64 across. And they go, oh, and they start trying to figure it out. And I go, just take half, and I tell them, give me the high side. You're left with $32. A lot of times you'll see new dealers they'll do this. They'll pull all your money up front like this, and they'll start trying to figure out where their money is, and you get a whole bunch of shit back. I tell them, and the box will remind them too, if I'm going to go exactly halfway regression, just give me half my money back. And then they can easily spread these out. It's a simple move to make. But if I know that it's going to be a problem, I'll literally hold $32 in my rack. And I'll tell them, I'll take my profits and I'll say, take me down. 32 across, please. And give them the next bet. That's a way to do it. If you know your stuff and you want to give it to them like that, that's great. If you can teach them, or the box teaches them how to pull half the bets down, that's the way I have them do it. So either way, either give them the money they need for the next one, or teach them how to do it in half. And if you're going to regressing by half is the easiest way to do it. Like the skill 66, right? You go 66 to 88. Your regression is down to 44. It's just take 2 of the bets off. They take the 6 and the 5 away. They're left with $44 between the $24 8 and the $20 9. The bet makes itself, right? That's a little bit of education on your part for the dealers, and I think that the box people are pretty good about making that happen. So that's how I do it, Gary. Hope that helps you out. Make your regressions easy. If your regression is complicated, it's going to be a pain in the ass. If it's going to be a complicated, like the Hawaiian horn or the Hawaiian press thing, where you press the 6 and 8, press the 5 and 9, press the 4 and 10, you got money everywhere. Coming from that to 64 sucks. Give them $65. Just bring it all down, give them the money for the next bet, and be done with it. Like, that's easy, right? I think that's good. Dice Dr. Dan, what town? I'm moving to Wenatchee, Washington. It's a beautiful little town. It's a tiny town. It's like 75,000 people. I can't wait. Can't wait to have a 4-minute drive to the store instead of a 45-minute excursion like I do now. Getting to the grocery store from here sucks, right? Everything sucks. my life is going to be so much nicer. I'll be a much nicer person. I promise you. All right, guys, it's out at the time. It's 8:50. Let me go to work. You'll have a great day. My final thoughts are going to be this. Keep the questions coming. Keep the questions coming. I want to know what else you want. Skill wants some more examples. Somebody else was talking about negative progressions. I can show you all the things. 401 is not just 20 days. 401 could be 100 days. We can do some deep dives on different negative progressions, whatever you want. So drop me notes, email me, john@procraps.net, hit me up in Discord if you want to there. And yeah, let's keep it going. I think that the core that I wanted to get to is there. The 3 basic ways to play. Now we're going to talk about merging them. We'll talk about phasing in our play, and then we'll get really deep into pressing and all that kind of stuff. So there it is. There it is. Take me down, make it look like exactly. That's it. That's the verbiage right there. We should have a whole show on verbiage, right? We should do like a whole show on like etiquette and verbiage because it's an important thing. Press by 1, press by half, press half, full press, parlay, all those things that people, the words have meaning to dealers, especially once they know what you're doing. They're pretty good. All right, get out of here. Y'all have a good day. Love y'all. God bless. See you in the next one. And that's it. Happy Wednesday. Bye.